Hello, this is James Mitchell, and I'm here to show you a quick reading that I did with Lenormand. If you've been following my previous videos that I posted on my channel, you'll see that I have been experimenting with doing weekly readings using the Lenormand rather than my Your Week in Tarot regular video series. I kind of just felt like I wanted to give Lenormand a whirl and just see how that worked out, because I've been working with Lenormand since the end of last year, and I've been trying to find ways to gain more experience with the cards aside from doing my own personal daily draws, which is how I've been using them mostly since then. So for this video, I'm using my own personal favorite Lenormand deck, which is the Under the Roses Lenormand. It's by Kendra Hurteau and Katrina Hill. It's my absolute favorite. It's my first Lenormand deck, so typically when I do readings for myself, I usually use this one, or my Malbor 2 Lenormand, which you may have seen when I have done some Lenormand readings on soap opera couples. That's another thing you'll find on my channel, so if you check it out. So for this particular reading, I did my line of 5, which is my go-to when I want a quick answer. And so I did this reading in advance, but I liked the results that I wanted to share it with you. So typically what I do in my videos, I usually take the rest of the deck, which I have over here, and I shuffle it and cut it and fan it and then pull 5 cards. But these were the 5 cards that I pulled, so I'm going to just go ahead and lay these particular 5 out. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to turn them over one by one and make sure as I do that they're in the shot. And it looks like they are. Great. Okay, so we have for this reading, and the question was, what do I need to know about making more Lenormand videos for my YouTube channel? That was a question I asked. So in response, the Lenormand presented me with the locket, which is also known as the heart, the bouquet, the letter, the lilies, and the tree. So when I do a line of 5, I start with the middle card. The middle card is the focus, and so here we have the letter. The letter is all about news and messages, and typically it can be something in written form. It can also be about paperwork and documents. And so when I thought about all of that, it struck me, 2 things struck me. The first being that written form of a message. And so my immediate thought was that I also have a blog, and that I have been embedding my tarot videos into my blog posts over on my blog. So I could also do the same thing for these Lenormand videos that I've been creating and probably will create more of. The other thing was, when I thought about the word documents, I thought of like the word documentation, which is like documenting something, a documentary almost like. And so, you know, these videos can be a kind of way of documenting or creating a documentary of my experience with Lenormand. So I thought about that. So I thought that was a cool way to look at the letter. So then what I typically do is I take the cards that are on each side of the letter, so in this case it's the bouquet and the lilies, and they form a pair. And if you're new to Lenormand, Lenormand is different from tarot, where you could read a card by itself, but with Lenormand you have to read cards in either pairs or triplets. So this forms the first pair. So bouquet is all about, you know, a gift, a surprise, some kind of invitation. It can also represent a talent or a skill and something that's being appreciated. Over here on the lilies is maturity, it's experience, it's wisdom. So when I look at the pair, my first thought was the maturation, going with the maturity aspect of the lilies, of a gift or a talent. And that would be, the gift or talent would be reading cards. So I thought of that as my first pair. And then here what I do next is I take the outer cards and they form a second pair. So we have the locket, which is also known as the heart, and then we have the tree. And so the locket, or the heart, for me represents passion and enthusiasm. So keeping in mind what the question is, because it's very important. There's several meanings you can have for each of the card, but you always have to remember the meaning that's going to be most in alignment with the question being asked, because you always have to read the cards in context to the question. So here I'm going to go with either passion or enthusiasm for the heart, because the heart can mean other things like romance, love, things of that nature, and so that's not what the topic of this is about. So I'm going to go with passion or enthusiasm. And over here on the tree can represent things like health, it can represent life, it can represent a personal or spiritual growth, going with the tree having to be a thing that is, or as a thing that grows. It can also just be about growth, generally speaking. But it can also be about family, for a pun on genealogy and the family tree. But here in this context, I'm going to go with the growth aspect of it. So I'm looking at the pair, and I would read it as growth from a passion. So that would be the thing here for that. So it would suggest that if I do this video thing, it's going to be something that just grows over time, because the tree takes time to grow, but it's going to be, the result is going to be, or it's going to come as a result of what I'm passionate about. And I am very passionate about cards. And I find myself these days that the more I work with the Lenormand, the more I fall in love with it. So that could be the love or romance aspect of the locket, or the heart. So then the next thing I do is I take the pairs on each side of the letter, and going with the first pair, we have the bouquet and then the locket. So going with the meanings of this, I have appreciation for one's passion, appreciation for the enthusiasm. The locket could be a fan as well, so a fan of the gift, or a fan who's really appreciative. And so I'm finding that with the video I just posted yesterday, I'm finding it's already generating a great deal of response, actually more comments than I typically get for any of my videos. So that's nice to see. So I'm seeing that, in terms of the fan aspect of it, if you will, that people are already responding to what it is that I'm trying to put out with the Lenormand video. So I really appreciate that. So I'm seeing that on this side. Over here, with the lilies and the tree, they form another pair. And so I read this as growth that comes from experience, or experience that's going to grow over time. So basically the more that I do it, the more experience I'm going to get. And that's just with anything in life, naturally speaking. But in terms of me finding new creative ways right now with my stage of learning with the Lenormand that I'm at, this is a nice way for me to get that kind of experience. So what I normally do after this is there's an aspect that I use called the hidden dynamics, and so that involves the pips. And so normally you'll find playing card inserts on top of the image index, but some modern decks, this is a more modern deck, will have it in one of the corners. So here we have the Jack of Hearts, we have the Queen of Spades, we have the Seven of Spades, King of Spades, and the Seven of Hearts. So the first thing that I notice is that there's a heart card on each side of the reading, and then 3 spades in the middle. Two things going on with that aspect. The hearts, for me, can represent being on the path of destiny. So this is like something that on some level I'm being destined to do or called to do. And then the spades represent the path of service. So this would be a service that I'm going to provide other people. And so the letter could be, it could be in terms of instruction, guidance, delivering messages, which is the readings. But maybe there are other ways that I could also work with the Lenormand in a video that doesn't necessarily have to center around just doing a weekly reading. So I thought about that aspect. That aspect jumped out at me immediately. So what I do is, for the hidden dynamics, you want to take the pips of the outer cards. So a Jack here in cartomancy is numbered 11. So Jack is 11. And then the 7 over here on the end for the tree, you add the 11 and 7 together, you get 18. So 18 in the deck is the dog. And so whenever the dog is an aspect of the reading, the dog represents something that is helpful or something that is supportive. So on some level, the videos that I would be creating would be helpful and supportive to either people in general or maybe even other Lenormand readers, So I like the dog aspect of it. The dog also is saying that, there's some level of being loyal to the process. So if I'm going to do it, there has to be some sense of loyalty to it on my end. And also, the dog represents being a friend. So looking at the cards as being my friend. The cards are always wanting to help me and assist me when they give me a reading. So, there's that friendship aspect of it too. So then for the inner pips, you want to take, here we have the queen. The queen is number 12. And then we have a king, which is number 13. So 12 and 13 is 25. And the 25th card in the deck is the ring. And so whenever the ring comes up, the ring represents a contract or a commitment. So again, it's just saying, just similar to what the dog is about, like being the friend, the ring is saying, if I'm going to do this, I have to be committed to it. So on the one hand, the dog is saying being loyal, and then the ring is saying being committed to it. It's also too a way, about engagement, because a ring can sometimes symbolize engagements or proposals. So it could be something that maybe creates more engagement, and I'm already starting to see that, like I said, because I'm getting more comments on the few videos that I have posted. So that's a sign right there. So that's an aspect of the hidden dynamics. The last thing I do is then I take all the pips and then I add them together. So I said we had 11 for the jack, then with the queen, that's 12. So 11 and 12 is 23. I'm doing this in my head. Then 23 and 7 is 30, because the letter is 7. So then 13 with 30 is 43. And then we have another 7 here on the end with the tree. So 43 and 7 is 50. So since the Lenormand deck has 36 cards in it, what I normally do is if the number is over 36, then I add the 2 digits together. So in this case, we have 50, which is 5 plus 0 is 5. And that brings us right back to the tree, because the tree is the 5th card. So basically, at the heart of it, again, the tree is all about growth or development and something that happens over time. So that's basically the gist of it. So yes, all these cards are very positive. So it's an encouragement for me to continue to make these Lenormand videos. But at the heart of it is all for my own growth and development. And not just growth and development as a card reader, but like I said, the tree is also about one's personal growth and spiritual growth. So on some level, yes, I'll be growing as a card reader, but I'll also be growing personally and spiritually. So, so there's that aspect of it. So I just wanted to share this quick video, again, like I said, answering the question, what do I need to know about creating more Lenormand videos for my YouTube channel? So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, this is James Himm Mitchell, and if you did enjoy it, please leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know. And also, I'm going to ask this probably every time I do one of these, and if you'd like to see more of this kind of video or some other kind of video using the Lenormand cards, kind of let me know what that might be too. It might be actually something I can do, something that I would love to do as a way to gain more experience, so that would be helpful for me too as well. So again, James Himm Mitchell here, and I look forward to sharing this space here with you again in the next video. And until then, take care.